Hi, I'm David Caraccio here in Sacramento with Gillian Brassil, congressional reporter for the Sacramento Bee in Washington, D.C. Good afternoon, Gillian.
Good afternoon. Glad to be here.
Gillian has been writing about federal shortcomings on wildfire response, a topic we are all too familiar with here in California. Most lands that can catch on fire in the state are federally owned, 58% of them, as opposed to 3% that are state owned. So Jillian has dug into whether Congress can do anything as wildfires are burning, who's responsible for the firefighting efforts, and how climate change plays a role in all of this. First of all, Jillian, tell us about the Forest Service's new plan.
Sure. So this winter, the Forest Service announced a new 10-year strategy to prevent and mitigate fires. It includes prescribed burns, thinning, pruning, removing dead trees and plants that build up and act as kindling for wildfires. And it ends up requiring that the Forest Service manage up to another 50 million acres of land out west. The agency estimates it will treat 4 times the amount of land that it does right now. And the first year of the plan is mainly talking with local, state, tribal, national leaders about hyperlocal best practices for dealing with fires. And they hope to convince communities, particularly underserved ones that are vulnerable to wildfires, to become more fire resilient through designing protective boundaries and clearing flammable brush. It's similar to projects being taken in the national forest where the McKinney fire is being fought by state and federal firefighters north of you.
So, what do state lawmakers want from the federal government when it comes to fighting these wildfires?
Yeah, as you mentioned, 58% of forests in California are federally owned, meaning it's the responsibility of the U.S. Forest Service under the umbrella of the Department of Agriculture and the Department of Interior to fight fires on those lands and work in tandem with CAL FIRE and local agencies. Last year, Governor Gavin Newsom called out the Forest Service over slow response times to fires, which ultimately led the Secretary of Agriculture to come to California and say that the agency would do better to combat fires so long as Congress allocated enough money to the agency to do so. Congress passed seed funding for their aforementioned multi-billion-dollar strategy later last fall, and other spending bills will need to allocate more money toward the Forest Service's plan in the future.
Finally, Jillian, what bills have come before Congress?
The largest wildfire package on the table right now is a 49-bill conglomerate that asks for more transparency in garnering federal reimbursements for fighting wildfires, climate change research, and bolstering firefighter pay, among a slew of other things. It passed the House of Representatives on party lines before they left for summer recess. A matching version will struggle to get the 60 votes needed in the Senate, which is split 50-50 Democrats and Republicans, to be considered because of disagreements on federal oversight, overreach, and spending money on climate change initiatives versus other practices that work to prevent fires like forest thinning. So we'll see where the Wildfire Response and Drought Resiliency Act lands in the fall.